Alright, once you've made a clock or two and people get to know, you often get them saying things like, I've got this old clock at home, don't go anymore, and you're welcome to it, and you get given these old clocks. Mostly they are spring driven. They don't go because they've lost the key, and it's gradually been getting slower and slower, and all the classic symptoms of needing a clean. Look at that, that's a beautiful enamel dial face from a Vienna regulator, 1890 something, bit dusty. Pity the rest of the clock isn't as good. Yeah, another one. Looks good. Immaculate. It's one of those anniversary clocks, you know, they've got 4 balls that swing backwards and forwards inside a glass dome. And I got given this because it doesn't go anymore. Fancy that. But the interesting thing is that this one, the wheel just spins, and the gear on this side is free. And it should be engaging in here with this pinion. It misses it completely. So whether it's been assembled with the wrong wheels, or I don't know. Anyway, not worth restoring because of the balls are missing, and the wire that hangs down, that's gone as well. And I've got a whole box full of bits here from old clocks. But this is what I was looking for, was this one. And it's quite nice. Doesn't go. Hasn't got a key, of course. I got given it some time back. Now, the object of this little video is for those people who like watching different YouTube videos of people making things. They're fascinating to watch, but it never occurred to them that they could do anything like it themselves. So, the idea is that I'm going to take this clock and we'll pull it to bits and we'll see if we can get it going, but I'm only using tools which the average home is likely to have. I won't use any of my equipment, just the tools. Right, so let's get started. Okay, you'll notice the first thing I've got is I've got a towel. Now that's not to protect the clock, that's in case I drop a screw. If I drop a screw on the floor of this workshop, chances are I'm not going to find it. I have it quite difficulty in getting down to ground level anyway. However, if you drop a screw on this towel, it stays there. So, what have I got? I've got some dishes to put the bits in, tools, 1 pair of pliers, 1 screwdriver, and a dusting off brush. Admittedly, the pliers are a small pair, and you've probably got sort of great big ones like this. Not so easy to manage, but hopefully we're not going to need them very much. So first job is to dust off the because the whole thing is absolutely filthy. Right. Now, next job is to examine the clock. Have a good look at it. It says Barker's of Kensington. They're not the makers, they are the retailers. It was probably a big shop somewhere in Kensington, London. It's unusual to find one that's got a brass face. They're usually either silvered or they are painted a whitish cream colour. And looking round the centre here, it looks as though it's been silvered at some time, because they haven't polished it off just round the middle there, because whoever did clean it off never removed the hands. Okay, to get to the inside here, we'll have a good look through and see what's in there. I can just, yeah, you've got the usual spring, and unfortunately it's got what's called a platform escapement on the top. That's a shame, but if it's not broken, we should be able to get it to go. It's a bit like the ones that are inside a watch. It does away with the pendulum. Now, normally the repairer probably wouldn't bother to repair it. He would buy a new one probably. Anyway, we've got to pull it to bits, that's the first thing. And to pull it to bits, we've got to take the face off. That's held on with 3 screws, but we can't take it off until we've got the hands off. So, the hands, if I come up close, you can see they're held on, trying to avoid the reflection. The hands are there with a little pin, tapered pin goes through, so we've got to pull that out. Use of the pliers, it's a very small pin, so I'm going to pause there a minute because I can't see it very well, so I'm going to put some magnifiers on my glasses. Now I can see that this end is the thick end, and I'm going to try and pull it. If I can get hold of it, it's very small. Oh, and it's out, and I'm going to put that in the first. Now we take the hands off. There's a little cup. Little cup first. Minute hand with the square hole in it. And this one is just a press fit. I'll put that on there. Okay, yep, now you can see that it definitely was silvered at one time. So now to undo the screws on the back, nuts on the back of this. Oh, that's interesting. The face is double. So there's a plate on the back. So that'll be interesting, see what happens when we take that off. This is where you hold it with the pliers, unless of course you do happen to have spanners that will fit. And if you're lucky enough to have a spanner, then instead of using the pliers, it's much easier, of course. And at this stage, you realise that really it's not necessary to take this off. Because it's a cover for this bit, and it could have come off with this bit. Now that shows, first of all, you've got the ratchet here for when the clock is wound up, and this is the business of the minute hand and the hour hand being turned with these gear wheels. So we'll worry about that in a minute, but we've got to get rid of this plate now, which could have come off with the other one all in one go. Now it's held on by, yet again, more pins. Got these big long ones, and once they come out, the whole clock face should come off. I just point out this little lever here, that can slide like that, and that operates on this platform and is the fast and slow device. Make sure it's an accurate timing. Right, let's go and pull those pins out now. Well, that one came out easily, and that one. Usually there's one that isn't. No, that came out nice and easily as well. And there's the clock, and we can put that on one side. Now, okay, nice lot of thin thumbprints on there. Nice shiny bolts there, so it's quite a nice clock. So to pull it to pieces, the first one to remove will probably be these on the front, and this delicate platform, which is held on with those 4 little screws. Actually, it's nicely made. Shame it doesn't have a case. Right. I think I'm going to remove the platform first. The screwdriver is only just small enough to go in there. It could do really with a smaller size. But of course I have a smaller size, but I don't want to cheat and turn the video off or something and use a different tool. Sometimes a pair of tweezers is quite useful, especially when we come to put it back together. Oh, there's always one that's a bit tighter than the others. Ah, the spring is unwinding now. Well, that's a good indication that at least the spring is not broken. Mending a broken spring is not easy, but possible. Ah, that looks most promising. Okay, let's have a real good close look at this. If I can get really close. Quite an intricate thing. Okay, I'll put that carefully on one side. Right, the next thing I think is to remove the things on the front. I had to stop there because I forgot. I need to have a notebook of some sort, because if you are beginning to put together a clock afterwards, excuse me, you need to know which goes where so that you don't muddle up the gears. So it's important that you make a note of which gear goes where, and you just do a simple diagram. And that one connects to that one, and your bracket is here. Whoops, and the screw is here. That's the important thing. And underneath you've got your winding square, and underneath that is the spring and a screw. And a screw. So it's quite a simple diagram. You don't need anything complicated, but you do need to know where things are going to go. So I'm going to remove the minute hand reverser and all the rest of it that goes here. And this time I'm going to use a carefully lifted off. And then this one should lift off. And then you've got two wheels. What that does is it gears it down for the minute hand, because this turns once in an hour. This one will convert the minute hand to work accurately. So they just come off. Not so easy, this one. I'll have to have a look at that one a bit closer. Yeah. That's got it's got a wasted bit here, so you can see the shaft that goes through. Very difficult to show it. And I've got to get that off, and it's just a press fit. So really this is where you need a tool that will go from either side and pull. So we've got to do it with a screwdriver somehow, so I'll try not to damage it too much, and we'll see if it just lifts off. Oh, it came off quite easily. Here we go. It should do, because it's supposed to be free. Okay, that's that one. Now the ratchet. I don't know whether this will zoom in a bit closer. Whoa, that shot away. Now that's important. Do you remember which way round that went? Right, you'll have to work it out from your diagram. Okay, we're back to another one of those little pins which will hold this wheel in place. Right, that's all the front, nothing else on there. So now I can undo it from the back. Now really it needs to stand on something, so I need something on either side there. I think I've got some cork rubbing blocks here, that would do. That's it, just to support it. Right, now we'll undo these 4. And they have a nice little cup washer. Now really I would like to have another dish there, I think, to put these. Oh, I don't know, it's probably alright for this one. We know they're on the back. I would like to think and hope that one day some dad somewhere might see the video and encourage his child to leave the dreaded games console to give him a hand at doing just this. Those terrible consoles, destroyer of lateral thinking and I went to a lecture on lateral thinking one time by a Dr. De Bono. He was the expert on lateral thinking. don't remember anything about the lecture, but I do remember his introduction, which I thought was brilliant. He started off by giving a lady in the front row a pair of scissors and a postcard, one of those little postcards, and said, see if you can cut a hole in that big enough to climb through by the time I've finished my lecture. She failed. Right, now, if I lift that off, is everything gonna go flying? That's the thing. So it would be nice to get a little bit closer if I can. Right. Now, am I going to be lucky? Very gently lift it off and everything stays in place. Now remember, I'm going to leave that on and then there won't be any mistake about which way round it goes. Not that I think that'll be a problem, because this side they're all countersunk. They're actually countersunk for oil. We'll put that on one side. Now, this is where your diagram comes in, where you need to note which wheel is going where. That's the important thing. I've just stopped to get another dish because I want to keep all the pieces separate. So this is obviously the one on the top, so that one comes out first. That's the hour wheel. Have a good look at that. It's not too bad. Then was this one. And this one, got to remember which way round they go, which you're noting in your pad. And here's the other. That's a very interesting little gear because the teeth are on the top. Okay. And lastly comes the spring. Now, it appeared to be okay, the spring, but we could pop the lid and have a look and see. I don't think it's broken, but you can just grip it with a pair of pliers and try and twist it, and if it doesn't slip inside, then you know the spring's all right, and it's not. So the spring is okay. So at the moment we'll leave that as it is. Right, where's my brush? And I'll give that a good dusting. It's absolutely filthy. Okay, well let's put it all to bits. That wasn't hard to do. The next job is to now inspect each gear and look very carefully at these little ends, because those are the bits which are the bearings, and if they are rusty or damaged or worn, is why the clock won't go, or where it needs a clean or whatever. So I'm going to have to look at those, and for that you need a magnifying glass. Well, you might have one like this, it's okay, but if you've got a jeweler's loupe or one of these more powerful ones, then you can really get to it and hold it close to your eye. And when I look at this one, I can see there's quite a lot of wear on it. So that's the next job. It would be to inspect every single one of those. That's as far as I'm going to go with this video this time. Next time we'll start to clean it up and see how it goes. Thanks for watching.